Turns out you only need 50 pins to connect to your PC. Steam's next VR headset and Half-Life 3 might be announced today. And AMD thinks they can compete. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Just as a reminder, this coming Friday, November 14th, we will have the drawings for our PC giveaways over on our Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/UFD Tech and UFD Music. We have a 5090 PC and a 5070 Ti PC being given away. We've kind of already determined what the next ones are gonna be. We're gonna have a 5090 PC for UFD Tech. We're gonna have a 5080 PC for UFD Music. And then we're gonna have another PC that's gonna be exclusive to people who bring in new viewers to stream through our referral system. So all of that's gonna be debuted on Friday. And we're getting debuts of what the next generation of power connectors could look like thanks to DIY Ape's BTF 3.0 system, something that Asus tends to adopt when it comes to their back to front, back to future, however they want to acronymize that. They're making it so that you only need one little set of fingers to connect to your motherboard. As you can see here, the power supply just juts right into the motherboard. And Colorful became the first example of this, where you can see you have that floating power supply on the side there that's just jammed right into the connectors on the motherboard. Here's a closer look at what it could potentially look like, but in case you're like, I don't want to upgrade to all of this. Well, if you happen to buy a motherboard that has this new BTF 3.0 connector, they're allegedly going to have a breakout board where you can plug in things like the 24-pin power connector as well as the CPU and GPU connectors, so that way you don't have to actually upgrade to power supply. But the main interesting thing here is that the whole set of fingers supports up to 2145 watts of power. I don't know why I denoted it like that. 2.145 kilowatts is what it can do, with 1,680 watts being reserved for the CPU and GPU. That's a lot. Even in modern standards, that's a lot of power being delivered over those pinned connectors. Hopefully, you don't have any burning issues, but it's not quite clear how long this is going to take to debut. Based on other previous BTF showcases, we might start seeing this kind of stuff pop up at least in like test motherboards at CES. Maybe see some releases somewhere near Computex. Who knows? That's just all speculation. But hopefully this means we can get rid of melt-and power connectors. That would be great. You know what else is great? Today's video sponsor. You know what's kind of fun? Buying new things, whether it's a treat for yourself or a gift for someone else. The drawback though is that things cost money. Lucky for us, today's sponsor AliExpress has a ton of different things and it's some pretty great prices. While it's just barely a scratch on the surface, we got a few goodies to show you that we got from AliExpress in preparation for the super special and largest sale of the year, the Double 11 sale. Starting off, I'd be shocked if you haven't heard of this keyboard yet, but let me introduce you anyway. This is the Owla F75, a 75% GASCII mounted wireless keyboard. This bad boy features a volume knob that doubles as a backlight control when in gaming mode. We have the Thunder Black colorway. Not only does this look great, but thanks to the 5 layers of sound dampening, this thing also sounds great too. Up next, and completely shifting gears, we have the EcoFlow River 3 portable power station. This power station delivers up to 600 watts out, perfect for keeping some household appliances or your workstation running during a power outage. The 230 watt hour and industry-leading GaN technology also allow the EcoFlow River 3 to provide over 30 hours of power to things like 3-watt lights or Wi-Fi routers, so you don't have to sit bored and in the dark. Only Kyler has to do that when he's bad, of course. Rounding out our haul here is the Conca KVL 32VE684UN from the VMAX lineup. This 32-inch 720p LED TV is perfect for filling out a cramped space where you still might want to watch some stuff move around on a screen. Probably the coolest thing about this TV is the standalone speaker feature. So with the built-in soundbar, you can actually use this as an independent speaker while the TV screen is off. This fella also runs Samsung Tizen OS for a nice and smooth user experience. Right now, you can grab this for as low as $89.99. As you can see, AliExpress has a huge variety of options to choose from, so I'm sure you'll find something for anyone. AliExpress is holding the Double 11 mega sale from November 11th to November 19th, offering up to 90% off site-wide. Use any of our codes when you check out AliExpress via the links in the description below. Thanks to AliExpress for sponsoring. Well, in case you pick up a new laptop on AliExpress's sales and it happens to have a vibration trackpad, Microsoft's working on bringing that to have more features in this new Windows 11 beta. They're having haptic signals be part of it, where you can have your new trackpad make noises and signal intensify at you, where it's not quite clear what it's gonna happen with. It says things like snap windows, align objects, so essentially maybe it's gonna go whenever you get that done, but it's very similar to something like Apple's Force Touch trackpad that uses a Taptic engine. iFixit has a great teardown of that. I personally forget that a MacBook has a Force Touch trackpad until it's powered down, and then I try to click on it and I'm like, oh, right. All of the sensations and experiences I'm feeling on this laptop's trackpad are fake, and my brain doesn't know the difference at all. It's crazy how good they've gotten that. And Google's trying to get Android ready for computers, because it's being reported that Snapdragon X Elite chips are being debuted in laptops that have Android's operating system on them. So the Snapdragon X Elite were developed for Copilot Plus PCs, and now it looks like they're going to be expanding beyond that to what's essentially supposed to be the replacement for Chrome OS, if I recount correctly, where Android's now going to be the kind of all-encompassing operating system for things like those smaller laptops. But it's a big day for ARM processors, because Minis Forum announced an ARM little home server thing, which is pretty cool. I don't have that here for hot news, but also today we're supposed to be getting the announcement of the Steam Frame VR headset, which, in case you're wondering why is that a big thing for ARM, it's supposed to be running ARM, which is wild considering that it's supposed to have a lot of the same game support that a Steam Deck does, which is currently based on x86 architecture. So if Valve has been doing the work to get ARM game support working for video games as well on their VR headset, that could have a huge revolution in the hardware industry, where you wouldn't necessarily need to be stuck with AMD or Intel for things moving forward. Nvidia's new chips could actually be viable, Qualcomm's chips could actually be viable, or anybody else who wants to participate in the ARM game. So not only are we supposed to allegedly be getting the Steam Frame VR unveiling today, we're supposed to also be getting the Steam Controller unveiling as well, which is supposed to look something like the Steam Controller 2. It's supposed to have features like finger detection, where it can kind of sense how far away your fingers are from the controller. Something very similar happens in Valve's Index. But the reason people are also speculating that Half-Life 3 might be unveiled as well is because of some other stuff that's going on with Steam and Valve and all of the patterns that they showcase. So you might remember that Steam's autumn sale has already happened, which means that there's actually a larger gap than normal between the autumn and winter sales, which the last time this happened was when Half-Life Alyx got unveiled. And so people are speculating that it's not just a hardware launch we're expecting today, but rather also a game announcement, which, you know, as soon as gamers hear that Valve's gonna announce a game, then it has to be Half-Life 3. So there's your dose of copium for today. We'll see if it actually happens. Maybe it's already happened by the time this episode of Hot News has gone live. Who knows? But what Reece knows is how to save you money.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals on the internet. And hey, here's your first deal. Starting us off, we have the monoprice underdesk PC tower holder going for $8.39, making it $31.60 off. But then next up, we have the InnoGear low profile microphone arm going for only $27.98, making it $14.91 off. Ah, it broke again. I think I tensed.
He won't let me buy him new glasses.
No. I refuse. And then lastly, we have the KYY 15.6-inch 1080p portable USB-C monitor going for $66.49, making it $33.50 off.
Like the jelly?
Yeah, close enough.
Jelly?
Yeah, no, go away.
No.
This guy.
You smell good. Well, Reece, looks like Sony actually has a pretty great deal when it comes to the PlayStation 5, at least gamers think so. It's a pretty dang well-selling console. Despite people thinking that it's been out of stock and hard to acquire, it's been doing numbers for Sony, with them unveiling that it sold over 84 million units worldwide, which, according to official numbers, now puts it past every single Xbox that's ever been released, because the last time Microsoft gave us an Xbox 360 sales numbers, that was 84 million. However, they haven't updated in like a decade. I think it was 2014 was the last time they gave that official number. Who knows how many they've sold since then, but according to at least publicized numbers, the PlayStation 5 is now the 9th best-selling console in history, beating the Xbox 360. It's only a few million away from actually beating the PS3. It's got a long way to go before it's gonna top something like the Wii or the original PlayStation, or even the PS4, but it's actually outselling the PS4 based on the same timeline. And Sony Sony has a plan for accelerating that a little bit because they're launching a Japanese language only console in Japan for a significantly cheaper price. So it's a digital edition console that usually costs $475 if you get the global one that's sold in Japan. However, now this regional variant will cost about $120 less than that at $355 US. So it's a discount from where things are now. It's a little bit more expensive than where it was at launch, at least according to the yen pricing based back in when it launched in 2020. But that wasn't the only thing that Sony had to show off at their State of Play Japan that they had yesterday. They also unveiled a 240 hertz PlayStation monitor, which is not going to really be used for PlayStation. It's kind of for PC, but it's not going to be exclusive to Japan. It's supposed to be releasing in the US as well in 2026. And the reason I'm interested in it is not just because it's 1440p 240 hertz and has HDR, probably not going to be OLED, but has a DualSense charging base on the actual monitor, which DualSense is my controller of choice for PC, and this would make it really convenient to just plop it down when I'm done playing. Which, by the way, currently I put like an hour or two into it yesterday. Kingdom Come Deliverance, what? Thoroughly enjoyed the intro. Let me know what you're playing down below in the comments while I let you know that Nvidia lost a major shareholder. SoftBank sold off their entire $5.8 billion stake in Nvidia in order to invest in OpenAI, which is quite strange. That's selling these shovels for the gold mine for the gold. I don't know if that's a great idea, but this is not the first time this has happened. SoftBank back in 2019 sold off their entire $3.6 billion stake in Nvidia right before the entire mining thing collapsed, and it came out that Nvidia was fudging numbers on their mining sales and saying that they were gaming sales when in fact that they were not. They were actually selling to miners. So it predicated a little bit of tumultuous times in the GPU market. Who knows if SoftBank's new move is gonna predict that as well, but no more predictions from us on what AMD's planning on doing, because they unveiled a whole bunch of roadmaps yesterday in their investor day, and they showcased that yes, Zen 6 should be launching in 2026. So we shouldn't have to wait too long to get the next generation of CPUs from AMD, which are going to be based on a 2nm node process, which is going to be the first time, as far as I'm aware, that a desktop chip is on a newer node than Apple's iPhone, which doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but TSMC usually reserves their latest nodes for the iPhone. That's usually the first device that launches on those brand new nodes, and it looks like in this case it's actually going to be AMD's Zen 6 processors. They also showed off how in at least server and AI environments it's going to have a whole bunch of new technology, 2.5D packaging. You're going to be able to combine it with their Instinct GPUs and their new AI network interface cards, and they also gave us a roadmap for their next generation GPUs, which is a little less exciting, a little less straightforward than what they unveiled for their CPUs, with them showing off that we currently have the RX 9000 series, which has 2nd gen AI, dedicated AI optimized pipelines and advanced ray tracing, and the next gen is going to have next gen AI and ray tracing, which is exactly what we heard from Sony when they had that like combined little press conference where they talked about what the PlayStation 6 is supposed to have as far as feature sets, and it's essentially going to be tensor cores and ray tracing cores. They're going to be bringing out technology to their GPUs that Nvidia's had since 2018. AMD has done a lot of work in making sure that the software side of all of this is really well supported before they invested in the hardware aspects, and so hopefully this is a good thing moving forward. They also confirmed that their APU names are confirmed. Gorgon and Medusa are supposed to be coming out 2026. Gorgon is supposed to just kind of be a refresh of what we already have in the Strix Point setup, so we shouldn't expect anything to surpass something like a Strix Halo, at least coming in 2026. But in 2027, Medusa on the next generation CPU architecture Zen 6, and potentially even a new GPU architecture, is supposed to accelerate its AI compute, which hopefully that also means gaming compute as well. But that's not the only big AI announcement that AMD had. They talked about their upcoming MI400 and MI500 GPUs. They're supposed to be in data centers and talking a big game, talking a lot of smack against Nvidia, which is kind of a first for them because AMD's been really hesitant to put themselves against Nvidia in terms of overall performance when it comes to their MI2 or 300. They kind of highlighted the fact that it's an all-in-one solution and that was their advantage, but now they're coming out and putting out benchmarks for their MI450 series and comparing it against a GPU GPU that Nvidia hasn't even released yet, with them saying that they're going to be competitive in memory bandwidth, FP4 and FP8 performance, as well as scale-up bandwidth, but they're going to be better in memory capacity and scale-out bandwidth. So you can see 50% better in those metrics, at least according to what AMD is putting out in their slides. And you can see MI450 is supposed to be a significant uptick from what you currently have on the market of the MI355X, but the MI500 is supposed to go to the moon. That's AMD slides indicate bigger, faster, better, higher numbers. But in case you're wondering, how are they even comparing their unreleased products to Nvidia's also unreleased product? Well, they had it in their end notes saying that it's AMD's Instinct specifications are based on AMD engineering projections as of the 10th of November and are subject to change. And Nvidia's Vera Rubin specifications are from published data by Nvidia and may also be subject to change. So that's the detail. AMD talking a big game. Who knows if they can actually back it up once these things hit the market? Maybe now that Nvidia sees that's what AMD's marketing strategy is going to be, they're just going to work on adjusting the architecture before it comes out. But it doesn't matter. Yesterday was AMD's investor day. They had to appeal to their investors, and investors want to hear about AI because it's awesome investing when you hear about it. So that's why all that happened. And what happened in Monday's episode of Hot News? Let's read your comments there. We got Steak is High saying, I hope UFD Tech has a vision plan for poor Reece and his glasses. All right. So we don't have an official vision plan, but I have offered to pay for Reece's glasses. Like, this guy is a menace to himself in so many ways. Reece passed his 8-year anniversary here at UFD Tech, and one of the things that I wanted to do for him, because he doesn't actually have a vehicle, was buy him at least a modest car. I wanted to buy him a car in exchange for his years of service here, and he declined. He told me no, he didn't want to buy the car. So you know what I did instead? I bought him a 5080 and a few other gizmos and gadgets for his PC because it was a modest car. It wasn't going to be anything fancy. It was just supposed to help him get A to B in order to go to the new UFD office. But instead, this guy takes an Uber to the office every day because he doesn't want to own a vehicle. This guy he just has his own plans in life, and no matter how much money I want to throw at him, he won't change. And we got Lord Cubbo saying, I just noticed the Switch energy drink that someone pointed out in your shorts. What is it? Where can I get one to try? And do you have an affiliate link I can use? So this is Switch. It is an energy drink brand here in South Africa. It's native to South Africa. You get it here. It might be available in other sub-Saharan or Southern African countries. I think I've heard that it's available in a couple others, but it's not really, you can't really import it. I don't have an affiliate link. We're not sponsored by them. This is just kind of for me to at least showcase that I'm here physically in South Africa for the people who get to see it. It's delicious. I'm having the orange chalk, which is an orange chocolate flavor, and it tastes exactly like orange chocolate. Then you got something like the banoffee, tastes like banana and toffee mixed together. They have things like malva pudding, which I found out is a South African exclusive dessert, or at least originated here. Tastes exactly like malva pudding. Then I had their Halloween cursed cranberry flavor, and it hurt to drink. It was actually cursed. I don't know how they did it, but it made me feel weird, and I salute their mouth engineers, their flavor scientists who were able to whip up these amazing flavors. Number one, Switch is tasty. Their original flavors were really good. Then they started coming out with these like fun flavors, orange bubblegum, iron brew candy floss, and a whole bunch of others back in the day. And they've just continued to expand their flavor profiles, and it really works. Switch is very good. It's also quite affordable. It's usually at least as cheap or cheaper than most other energy drink brands. And when I convert it to the American price, it's 75 cents a can, which is it's a good deal. Can't say enough good things about Switch. They're not paying me. It's one of the things that I very much appreciate about being here. But you guys don't appreciate AI. We got Nicholas saying, AI bubble, please just burst already. Sincerely, everybody. And I just want to kind of deflate the hopes of people for a second. One of the things that I learned, at least in my economics courses back in university, was that bubbles do exist. They happen all of the time in various different sectors of various different parts of the economy, all right? AI likely is in a bubble right now, but a bubble doesn't have to pop. That's part of the problem, right? Bubbles can actually, if they're outpacing what the economy is actually doing, at least the investment in it, the economy can actually eventually catch up and fill out the bubble to where it's no longer a bubble. So popping isn't the actual only option when it comes to bubbles in economic setups. Also, it could also deflate slowly. It doesn't have to be an explosion or a complete failure, at least a catastrophic one. But then you got people like the dumb stuff saying, I don't understand the term AI bubble, let alone anyone thinks it's gonna burst. I haven't seen any indication other than AI development will continue to increase for the next couple decades and require more hardware. I'm gonna take this as an earnest comment, and number one, to say that investment will continue to increase for the next couple decades is just flat out wild prognostication. That is crystal ball level. You don't actually know what the economy is going to bring. It's impossible to actually think that. If you're being serious about where you're going to place your money, it's impossible to think that something's going to continue for the next couple decades. That's just way too far of a time frame. It's not actually legitimate. But then on the side of like not understanding the term AI bubble, part of it is, yes, there's big money being thrown around when it comes to AI hardware and AI software and infrastructure and all of that. But when you look at the balance sheets of the companies that are actually making the AI software, they are not profitable. They have very limited revenue. They are not monetizing on the actual tech that they're developing. So they're putting all of this money into infrastructure, into land leasing, into nuclear power plant build-outs. They're locking up a ton of cash into things that are physical for revenue that doesn't exist. And honestly, if you try to look at where OpenAI's revenue is and you want to find out how are they affording all of these tens of billions of dollars of deals, when as of June of this year, they only hit $10 billion in annual revenue. Revenue, not profit. They don't have any profit. It's hard to imagine how is the bubble going to actually fill? How are these software companies going to be able to financially justify the hardware, land, and power investment that they're actually making? Because right now, the money isn't there in terms of what consumers are spending on that. And then when you look at things like hardware sales, you have companies like Nvidia who are actively subsidizing deals to companies like OpenAI and Oracle and all of these other places who they're getting big deals with these companies. They're guaranteeing that they're gonna like buy back production of the AI in case nobody actually buys the service that they're selling, which is an effective subsidy of their sales, but they're guaranteeing the sales by effectively discounting their hardware without doing that. And then when that happens, their stock price shoots up because they have a guaranteed 10, 20, 30, $100 billion deal. Their stock goes up and then it just makes the company look better, even if it's not a $10 billion deal. Even if the company that is spending the $10 billion, a la OpenAI, is not gonna have the $10 billion that they need to pay for it. It's a really weird situation that's going on right now where the investment is outpacing revenue. I haven't seen any indication that that isn't true, that the amount of money that companies are pouring into AI hardware and infrastructure is well beyond the amount of money that they're making from their services. And the question is that going to catch up? Is ChatGPT going to be able to triple, quadruple, 10x their pricing to the average consumer in order to make it so that they are finally profitable? Or are they going to find an advertising model that allows them to finally pay for all of this server usage that they've got going on? That's the part that's really unclear, and that's the part that a lot of people are speculating is the bubble. Where is the revenue coming from for the end service? Not the hardware. The hardware, Microsoft's buying a lot of stuff. They got a lot of cash. Oracle has a lot of cash, so they can make these types of deals. OpenAI doesn't have a lot of cash, but yet they're the poster child when it comes to all of this kind of stuff. You know, an AI bubble, I haven't seen many people not admit that there is a bubble. A lot of people do think there is a bubble, including Jensen, including a lot of the people who have vested interests in all of that. But the conclusion of how the bubble resolves itself is where you get discrepancy in opinion from a lot of people. So that's my understanding of the situation, and I'm gonna end this episode of Hot News here. I'll see you back here for more of the Hot Tech News later.